Use this tip to stand up in the closed guard. Here's a tip. When you finally get up, regardless of your method of standing in a square stance, when I finally get up, what I want you to do is I want you to focus on foot position. Your feet should be slightly angled so that they make a triangle over your training partner's head. Not excessively, but I want you to think about slightly pigeon-toeing your feet versus this. It's very common. It's really common to stand up, not think about your feet. This is a huge task that you need to keep in mind. The feet need to be slightly angled over the head. What that does is allow your knees to monitor your training partner's hips. And that's a big deal, so that when we finally climb up, if my knees are slightly angled in, which is actually your hip, if Lance drops down to try to sweep me, you're gonna feel like a rock. You're gonna feel like a wall in his guard. If I turn out my feet, my hips are gonna be externally rotated. Now your knees are open so that when he drops down, you're gonna fall off your base really easily. So when you stand up, if you're using a square stance, a massive tip, keep your feet pointed in. What you're really doing is you're internally rotating your hips and you're setting your stance in a very, very strong position. Final tip I'll give you is just to keep your feet relatively about shoulder width apart, that your knees should never go underneath his hips. So when I'm up, my knees should not cockeye under his hips. Should be on each side of the hip so that we can easily stand up like this. My legs should be able to move independently, and we can now start opening the closed guard in a very strong stance.